Judge Sanford Steelman is running unopposed, and we're still going to ask him a question, and we'll see if he chooses to answer it or tell us another story. But the question that was supposed to be answered by Judge Steelman is: a number of high-profile cases in recent years have led to allegations of prosecutorial abuse or police misconduct with respect to the rights of criminal defendants. There have been instances where trial judges, in response to such actions, have imposed sanctions, including limiting sentencing options. How do you view the best way to address issues of prosecutorial and police misconduct, and what are the appropriate means to ensure public confidence in a verdict while also deterring such misconduct? Judge Steelman.
Thank you, David. I first of all want to thank you folks for three things. First of all, for sponsoring this forum. This is the preeminent forum and the can't-miss forum for candidates for the appellate judicial races. You do it every election cycle, and I appreciate you giving the candidates an opportunity to be heard. Second, I want to thank you for your endorsement and also for the financial contributions that came from your members to my campaign. Those two factors were instrumental in me emerging from the filing process without an opponent, and I thank you for that. Third, I want to thank you for these programs that you put on. You folks, by attending these programs and spending huge amounts of time in preparation, elevate the practice of law in North Carolina. And that is very important for me as an appellate judge. I would rather have a thoroughly well-briefed case with a tough decision to make than to get some of the briefs that totally miss the point and run the risk of creating chaos in the law in North Carolina. So I appreciate you folks for taking the time to try and improve the skill level in your profession. Now to the question. I'm going to try and be brief since I don't have an opponent. I don't think anything has shaken the public's confidence in the criminal justice system in this state than the recent revelations about the SBI crime lab. And it's going to take a lot of repair work to get that confidence back. And what your question does is it raises an issue that the public truly does not understand. They understand that if the police or the prosecutors engage in misconduct, that something needs to be done about it, but they don't understand why that remedy so often seems to be turning a guilty defendant loose. The public simply does not understand that. These issues come up primarily in motions to suppress and also in discovery motions. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the discovery motions first. We've given our trial bench very broad discretion to deal with discovery abuse on behalf of the state. They can basically do anything from giving a 5-minute recess to dismissing the charges with prejudice. And I really believe that we need to keep that discretion in the hands of the trial judge. The trial judge sees the lawyers, sees the officers on a daily basis, and knows where there have been legitimate abuses and can best shape the remedy. The second issue deals with the suppression, and there are two approaches to this. You have the exclusionary rule that our Supreme Court has adopted, and then there's the other approach across the, as the British say, the pond, where the British have chosen not to exclude the evidence, but to punish the officer or to punish the people involved in the misconduct. And while I think there is some merit to that approach, our U.S. Supreme Court has interpreted our constitutional law in context of exclusion as being the remedy. And I really don't see the U.S. Supreme Court revisiting those issues in the near future. So I think that's something that we're just going to have to live with, and we're going to have to rely on our trial bench to craft remedies that are just not only to the state and the people of North Carolina, but to the defendants. I'm going to cut off. She's given me the high sign. but I would appreciate your vote. If you vote for me on November 2nd, you will be voting for a winner.